Hi guys, Belle here, and today we are going to be reacting to the creepy pasta Zero. Draw My Life channel, TikTok, Draw My Life. Let's get into the video. Before we do, like, subscribe, and comment down below if you watched her slash him before Halloween.
Welcome to a new Draw My Life video. Hey there, TikTokers. We are very happy to share with you a new and terrifying Halloween. Fear lovers should be delighted as we have 2 weeks of videos on this topic ahead of us. Today, we bring you one of the main courses, the Creepypasta Zero. We recommend you to get comfortable and turn off the lights to enjoy the experience. Let's start.
Let's do this.
Alice was a young girl with green eyes and candy-colored hair. She was sweet and intelligent, but very shy and never had any friends. That's why she often created her own imaginary friends that she named with a number to differentiate them. There was one in particular that stood out, her first imaginary friend, Zero. For Alice, life was sad until Zero arrived. She was her best friend and always protected her. Zero wore a black sweater, black and white striped gloves and socks, and brown boots. Around her eyes were black circles. Alice would spend all her time with her, and when her parents saw her playing and talking to herself, they got worried and thought about seeking help. One summer day, Alice sat down to sunbathe in her garden. The sun caressed her pale skin. As she sat on the grass, she felt a strange sensation. Something in the depths of her mind urged her to cross to the other side of the street. Barefoot, she headed towards the road. As she looked up, she saw a large white truck coming towards her, and she was paralyzed, in shock. There was a loud, squeaking sound as the vehicle turned in another direction, dodging her and falling down the hill until it caught fire. Alice froze pale. She watched as someone crawled desperately out of the vehicle, covered in crimson blood. It was her father, and next to him was her mother, screaming as they burned to death. "Mom! Dad!" she cried out. It was the last time she saw them. After the accident, she was adopted by her neighbor, Mrs. Rogers. She was an alcohol addict. Alice hated her very much, but she had no one else, no family, no friends. As she grew older, she forgot her imaginary friends. One day in class, Alice was absorbed drawing in her notebook when the teacher caught her attention. "Alice, I suggest you pay attention in my classes. I don't think you need another zero." She was confused. Something the teacher had just said bothered her, but she didn't know what. She felt sick, so she asked for permission to go to the bathroom and rushed out. When she arrived, she washed her face with cold water, and when she looked up to her reflection, she panicked. She swore she saw someone else. She went back to class and saw how strange red circles were drawn in her notebook. A chill ran through her body. As she left class, she found her only friend, Anne, who had short blonde hair and brown eyes. "Hello, Alice. Welcome to Wonderland," said Anne. "I'm not in the mood today, Anne," she replied seriously. "Come on, cheer up. You have me here for anything." When she arrived home, she went up to her room trying not to make any noise. As she passed through the living room, she held her breath. "Here you are, bloody girl," shouted Mrs. Rogers, grabbing her arm. Her breath stunk. Alice screamed. "What is this, huh?" she said, pushing her towards the kitchen, where it was all full of beer cans and boxes of pre-cooked food. I'm sorry. I didn't have time to clean up. I was late for school." "I don't need excuses. Don't let it happen again, or you'll regret it, I swear." She threw her on the floor, and she hit her head with the floor tiles. Alice picked everything up containing her sadness, anger, and confusion. The next day, she took another route to school so no one would see her. She walked through the snowy forest in her black sweatshirt, covering the bruise on her face. Just as she got to school, something made her fall. She felt a group of boys laughing at her, her blood boiling with rage more and more intensely. She got up and pushed the boy. She threw him to the ground and started hitting his face non-stop. "Alice, stop!" she heard screaming. "What's wrong with you? We only want to help you." She looked up and saw everyone's horrified expression, including that of her friend Anne. She looked at her bloody knuckles and the boy's smashed face. "What have I done? I didn't mean to," she thought. Tears filled her eyes. She stood up and fled into the woods. When she got home, she blindfolded her wounds in the bathroom and saw her reflection in the mirror. "What did I just do? I didn't want to." "Oh no, of course not. It was me. I just wanted to protect you," answered the voice, using her own mouth. Alice stepped away surprised. It was unbelievable, but her reflection had just spoken for her. Who are you?" she asked, stuttering. "I'm your best friend, remember?" Her head started spinning as she fell to the ground feebly. The voice was inside her head, repeating the same phrase over and over again. "I'm your best friend, your only friend. 0. In the following weeks, the voices stopped, but Alice began to become a different person, more and more irritable and violent. She often suffered sudden attacks and laughed like a mad woman. She felt as if her mind was someone else's. When Mrs. Rogers found out that she had been expelled from school, she got angry and locked her in her room. She sobbed, felt weaker and weaker, until one night she fainted. When she woke up, she was on the floor. Her whole body hurt. There was no sign of Mrs. Rogers. Relieved, she left her room and went to the living room. She was surprised by news that appeared on television where they said they had found a decapitated woman. She decided to make herself a soup for dinner. A rotten smell struck her. A hammer covered with blood was lying on the floor. Scared, she returned to her room. As she entered, she saw the walls covered with circles drawn in blood, and on her bed lay Mrs. Rogers' lifeless head. She ran out of the room in horror, but tripped and fell down the stairs until she reached the floor unconscious. She woke up again in a room full of mirrors that reflected her pale face with tired eyes. "Aren't you happy? It's gone. She won't bother you anymore."